Hello, welcome to the pitch of the Department of Classics and Religious Studies, teaming with Alpheus. This is our pitch for your participation in our proposal for the 2025 Capstone Computer Science Design Program. Now, let me introduce myself. My name is Robert Gorman. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Classics and Religious Studies here at UNL, and we make up in that department one part of the team that is behind this project. Now, a few words about classics in case you don't know. Classics is that academic discipline that studies ancient cultures and their languages. And it may be a range of languages, but it almost always includes the language of the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans. And their language, of course, is called Latin. Now, Alpheus is a digital, online, evidence-based, open-source software program that helps students and others learn the languages, read the language, and so on. And they produced a nice little video that will introduce themselves, so I'll let Alpheus speak to you in its own words.
Alpheus puts the classical languages at your fingertips. It is both a browser extension and a reading environment for mobile devices. The first of its kind, it gives you access to dozens of resources with just one click. Whether you're a student of Latin, Greek, Arabic, or Persian, Alpheus makes reading and studying classical languages easier and more convenient than ever before. Wherever you are online, from global digital properties to community blogs, if you can click on a word, Alpheus will define it, conjugate it, and much installed on Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. Alpheus is dedicated to making classical languages more accessible to everyone, everywhere. Download the extension at alpheus.net.
Second major component with which we want your help is the Arethusa tree banking platform. Now, this application provides a great advantage to anyone who wishes to do dependency syntax analysis and annotation of Greek, Latin, and other ancient languages. This is very important for research and for teaching, and it is now becoming outdated in ways that we will discuss. Now, I can't really go into it. It's very feature-rich, and you see it running here in the background. As I say, if you're interested, we can discuss it more. Just get in touch. Now, what would you be doing if you join this project? Well, we have identified a couple of key challenges that we are excited to have you help with. These projects would provide great value to the Alpheus and Arethusa global user communities, while also providing you highly marketable skills and experiences. Now, what are these then? Well, the Alpheus browser extensions wrap a browser plugin around the core Alpheus functionality so that the reading tools can be available for use on any text on any website that a user wants to read. The browser extensions were built using the web extension Manifest version 2, which was previously supported by both Firefox and Chrome. But Google recently retired support for Manifest version 2, which makes the Alpheus tools unavailable for use in Chrome browsers. As the core functionality of Alpheus resides in a separate library, the work that is needed here is primarily isolated to the management of interactions and state between the browser and the main library. However, it will also require exploring the code base to understand the nature of those interactions. You will also have to update dependencies and unit tests and create a new packaged version of the browser extension. AI code assistants should be able to help you with all of these tasks. The process of working through this and learning about the underlying Alpheus architecture and the microservices it uses will prepare you for the more exciting part of the project, developing a new version of the Arethusa treebank editor. The Arethusa treebank editor is about 12 years old and was written with an earlier version of the AngularJS framework that is no longer viable for updating. It was also designed to support a wide range of highly customizable use cases, which weigh it down with an extremely complex architecture that is difficult to understand and maintain. With any software application, eventually you reach a point where you have to decide whether it makes sense to continue to refactor or just rewrite. And with Arethusa, it is clear that it is time to rewrite it. This means that you will have an opportunity to create something entirely new using modern technologies and take a project through from its inception to completion. While you will have the existing application that you can use as a model and exemplar, you also have freedom to explore new paradigms for providing this functionality. One of the most interesting aspects of this will be to evaluate the limits of what LLMs and generative AI can now provide in terms of linguistic expertise, and whether these technologies can greatly reduce the level of complexity, not only in the coding process, but also as key components of the new application. You will not be alone on this adventure. Members of the Department of Classics and Religious Studies here at UNL, including myself, will be serving in the roles of production manager, customers, and subject matter experts. We will oversee the project as a whole, define the requirements and user stories for the new version of the Arethusa editor, and help you evaluate the viability of large language models as replacement for these linguistic microservices. There is also help from Alpheus. For the Alpheus portion of the project, you will have access to detailed documentation on the project. Harry Diakoff, the president of the Alpheus Project Limited, will provide design and subject matter expertise on the functionality of the Alpheus reading tools. Bridget Almus, vice president and software architect of the Alpheus project, will give you an introduction to the Alpheus and Arethusa architecture and code bases, and will be available for questions and to provide guidance along the way. Well, what are the takeaways? Well, you see here a little inscription, quid pro quo, which was one of the favorite expressions of the Romans because they were always interested in mutual advantage. What do I get out of this project? What do you get out of this project? And so on. Well, here's what we're thinking. We're thinking that our world runs on thousands of legacy software applications, and these need to be maintained, updated, and replaced. Generative AI is fundamentally changing software engineering and the way that we develop. This project will give you direct experience with both ends of this spectrum, and you will build skills that are directly applicable to the business problems that organizations are facing today. You will learn how to understand, debug, enhance, and rebuild complex pre-existing legacy code bases, and how to use AI to help you do this efficiently. You will work with existing APIs and microservices and learn about how they are deployed on the Amazon cloud infrastructure. You will exercise your software engineering skills, including coding in JavaScript, as well as other languages, writing and updating unit and integration tests, and creating a final production version of the application. You will learn about browser technologies and browser security issues. You will exercise and develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills. You will be responsible for a product from the beginning to the end of the full software development lifecycle, including interacting directly with the end users, who will be the consumers of the final products. And because this is an open source project, all of your work will be credited to you and available for you to show to future employees as a concrete example of what you are capable of. And last, but not least, the quid for the quo, you will be producing something of value to scholars, teachers, and students. Your work will be critical to enabling continued worldwide use of these important free tools for the teaching and study of ancient languages.